but yeah, as for Patty, like, yeah, he's an unbelievable dude. I had known him a little bit beforehand, but obviously had never played with him. And I don't know, it was a really cool moment. I think he and we have some parallels in our career that were kind of cool, and to be able to share that with him, that moment, um, it was pretty special. And truthfully, I'm just glad that there was someone else retiring, so it takes some of that,
Yeah.
some of at least half the attention, probably more of
Yeah.
that, and more than that, off of me. But I mean, I'm just excited to see this guy run in the Chicago Marathon.
I was gonna ask.
Did he sign up yet?
Yeah,
We're getting him the spot. We
I
have
don't
to
know.
check every
I
day.
gotta give him, shit if he hasn't. But I was texting him.
He's doing the TV
I
circuit
was,
now. I don't know how much he's training.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that haircut he's got has definitely got to shave at least a few minutes off his time
I don't
because
know,
he's
kind of
looking fast.
aerodynamic, just slick back
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. All right, big show today. Obviously, Ed's out of town. He's at Dana's wedding. We have full panel though. We have Alec Martinez join us to talk about Jeff Blashill, the new Blackhawks coach. Martinez obviously played for the Blackhawks, played for the Kings, played for the Knights. Just retired, so he's joining the show. And then we got our guys from the 108.
We got Beef Loaf and My Sox Summer. Treasy E was slaving to the man. And really good baseball conversation, really good White Sox conversation. Love chopping it up with them.
And they love Miller Lite.
I was just basically
basically
say that.
just as much as we do. Miller Lite, you know it, the great tasting, less filling, original light beer. Since 1975, Miller Lite has been the go-to beer to fill up the cooler when it's a good day to grill. I've been doing that already. Stock up for the grill season ahead. It's Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. Simply put, it just hits different, especially at the grill, surrounded by friends. The original light beer since 1975. It's still iconic. It's still number one. That white can, I love the commercial. Have you seen the commercial where they do like the little flip book of all the different iterations of the Miller
I have
Lite
not,
can?
but
it's great.
that's a good trip down memory lane. I've
Been running all playoffs long. So Miller Lite, the official beer of the Chicago Bears. Go to MillerLite.com/stretch to find the delivery options near you. Or, this is Chicago, it's Miller Lite. Anywhere that sells beer, they're going to have Miller Lite. So cheers to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. So get on that. Miller. It's Miller time.
And they got gold cans now. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
That is true.
It's
They
the
do have the gold
50th
cans,
anniversary of Miller Lite. They got gold cans now. I saw them at the store. I had to get them. The gold attracted my eye.
Oh, this is nice.
What's a half a century called?
50 years?
50 years. I know that's 50 years, but is there a name for it?
I don't know.
You
It's
smart
Miller
ass.
time.
It is Miller time. Shout out to 50 years.
Golden anniversary. That's
Yeah,
what
we'll
it
call
is.
it that. I like that.
That is what it is. It's the golden anniversary. So, and now we'll kick off the show. Alec Martinez. All right. Before we get into the interview, we had some tech issues with our Zoom, so the audio is all in there on both feeds, but you're just going to see a still image of that guy, Alec Martinez. Handsome dude, looks like a professor. Not that big of a deal, but we're figuring out we had some tech issues, so we want to make a quick announcement before getting into the episode, but here you go. All right, we are joined by former Blackhawk, multiple Stanley Cup champion, Alec Martinez. Alec, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's great. Now, we're having you, well, number one, I just like you. Number two, you're tight with new Blackhawks coach, Jeff Blashill. So he was your coach at Western Michigan, correct?
Miami,
my bad.
Yeah. No, it's all right. He was there. He was at Western after
Yeah.
Miami, but yeah, I've known Blash since I was like 16, I think. 17. I played for him in the select festivals, like for USA Hockey, because
Mhm.
him being a Michigan guy too. He was the coach of the Michigan district. Actually, him and John Cooper were both the coaches that year, which is kind of funny.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
We won that tournament, probably all coaching, none of us players. But no, I've known Blash for a long time. He recruited me to school. I played for him at Miami, and then we've kind of always stayed in touch. He's I think as an athlete or in anything in life, you have a few select people that are a big part of helping you along the way, and big reason for your success, and he's one of those guys for me.
I'd love to hear that. So that's been like one of the major talking points around this hire. Is he's so good at connecting with young guys and obviously veterans too. But what was it about him? And when you're in college, it's all 18 to 24. So what did he do to kind of get through to like the kids of that age, which is what he's going to be dealing with here? And
Um,
stand out.
well, I think he's he's a really good hockey mind. He's a smart guy. He's smart hockey mind. I think with coaching and things like that. I think I don't want to say it's rare, but the top coaches are able to obviously do the X's and O's. They're able to motivate. They're able to do that, but a big part of it is relating to the guys, and then I guess it's kind of like another thing to relate to younger guys too. And I think um, he's got that knack. For whatever reason, I think he was, he's honest. I think he's tough. I remember him being, I mean, not super hard on me, but he was a tough coach to play for. He demanded a lot. And I think, that's good when you have a young group. Um, but that's got to be coupled with, a little bit of tact too. You need to be able to relate with guys because if you're just an asshole, then eventually people are not going to listen to you. But he's good at identifying and creating that common ground with younger guys, and he's super easy to talk to.
How much asshole
And
does he have in him?
oh, he can be an asshole. Tru- Trust me. Yeah, I've there's a few things. If a few of my college buddies that played with him are watching this, then they know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, he's certainly a guy that he's passionate. He cares. He's smart, and if you don't do things the right way, he's gonna let you know. And I think that's what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, accountability is good. Um, you want everyone pulling their own weight, pulling in the same direction, and I think he's a really good fit for that.
Did he call you when he was getting interviewed and talking to Kyle about taking this job, about insights for this group?
Yeah, yeah, we've chatted. I mean, we chat, every once in a while, even before this. I had heard rumors that he was kind of in the mix for it. Truth be told, I mean, my life's kind of been a shit show, so we've been playing phone tag for a bit, but I've talked to him since taking the job too. Not nothing at length, but I imagine once things settle down for him and myself included, that we're he's got family in northern Michigan too, so I see him in the summer times and things like that. So I imagine we'll have some discussions, maybe with a couple beers on the dock, but nothing nothing too formal as of yet.
Was it like
Mm.
was it a hard year for you, being like, "Whoa, what did I do? I should have been up in
Uh,
northern Michigan."
yeah, yeah, I could have been,
Yeah, I
but
know. Yeah. Well, 4 sheets will change your mind quick. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was no, but uh I guess short answer, yeah, at times it was frustrating. I think um any any competitor, any athlete, you play the game to win, right? And like
Yeah.
no one's gonna sit out there and just be fine with losing. And if someone's like that, well then they're probably not playing in the NHL, right?
Hmm.
You know, but um so I'd be lying if I told you if that everything was smooth sailing all year. Like, yeah, it was frustrating at times, but um I knew what my role was there. I knew um what I was, what situation I was entering. But I also, to me it was intriguing. I think, if we back up to, last summer this time, I was comfortable with being done if that were the case. I knew that I would have an opportunity to play if I wanted to, but it would have to be the right situation and something that piqued my interest. And obviously coming here piqued my interest because I, ended up doing it. But and this sounds like corny and sounds like a line, but it's not. Like it was, I viewed it as an opportunity. I mentioned earlier, like I had a lot of really good guys to learn from.
Hmm.
And so um, when I had this opportunity, it's like, well, yeah, the money's nice. Like I mean,
Yeah.
having a job and getting paid definitely eases a lot of concerns versus, being unemployed like I am
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
No, but I genuinely looked at it as an opportunity where, I guess in my LA days, I was always a young guy, and then I got traded to Vegas and I had a little bit more of a mentorship role and things like that. And then, I saw the Hawks opportunity and it was kind of the same thing where I'm like, hey, this is a chance for me to give back. I've been very fortunate in the game that the game's given me a lot. I've had a lot of really good guys to learn from, and this is kind of a good opportunity to give back a little bit and try to help, some young guys, and hopefully down the road the Hawks will win a Stanley Cup, and someone might think in the back of their mind like, hey, that washed up plug Alec Martinez, actually kind of taught me something, um I mean, it's probably not going to be anything major, but like, um but yeah, I just
Yeah. The little
I
details
looked at
about
that.
being a winner. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I'm sure it's just like anything in life. It's little details go a long way, within the game of hockey, just a game. It's the little plays that often lead to the biggest results, and that extends to, how you go about your daily business. It's doing that extra workout or doing that extra set or going to the training room and getting that extra treatment, things like that. So it's just um, consistently doing things the right way, both on and off the ice, and you're going to have success.
Who was like your guy in LA that kind of showed you the ropes? Because those teams, like when
Um,
I think back, and it's like that was my favorite era of hockey, and like those series with the
yeah.
Blackhawks and the Kings, where even the one where you ended it that was some of the best hockey I've ever seen. So who was the guy that kind of
Yeah.
showed you the ropes?
Well, side note with that, um, I don't know how many people come up and tell me that series that we had with the Hawks was single-handedly the best series of hockey they'd ever watched.
It was.
And yeah, and I don't know, it was really cool to be a part of. I
Yeah.
mean, I think, obviously I get a lot of flack for the way that series ended here, but I say the same thing. Like, I think both organizations made out just fine,
Yeah.
over the
Yeah.
course of that 5, 6,
It
7,
was a
8 years.
great run. Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of guys, like, it was kind of by committee. If I had to pick, I mean, one in particular for me would be Matt Green.
Okay.
Um, we're both Michigan kids. Uh, he was my D partner. Um, and he had, I mean, pretty much since I had stepped foot in the league, I think he and I were D partners for 6 or 7 years. I mean, certainly during those runs. Um, but it wasn't just him. Like, we had, Rob Scuderi, we had Willie Mitchell, we had Robin Regier. I know I just named
Just
defensemen,
like
but like,
those were the guys of that era. Like you
oh
mentioned,
yeah,
like Willie Mitchell. Oh, that's a guy I hate. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like Robin
yeah,
Regier. I remember him
yeah.
more from Calgary, but yeah, from like that's like another
Mhm.
hard ass guy. Like hated him. Like hated
Yeah,
like though, and that's what I
yeah.
mean. Like that era was just like the perfect blend of like the new NHL where you had all the skill, and then like still like the
Mhm.
hard ass guys too. And
Yeah.
like and you're in your team, Dustin Brown, Jeff Carter, like that. Those
Mhm.
those were just awesome teams.
Oh yeah, and I think, like, I mean, I'm biased obviously, but I think like some of those D men, like the guys that I just mentioned, like when you say it was kind of like a cross between the old school and the new school, I don't think that they really ever got credit for or enough credit for the plays that they made too.
Yeah.
Like Greener specifically, like he was a bruiser. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I totally put you in the first row, but like he could make those plays. He's a good, puck mover and good at breaking the puck or breaking out the puck back there. And um, but then just pick it, like we had such a unreal leadership group in LA in those days. And so it's like Jarrett Stoll, Dustin Brown,
Yeah.
um, you know, Cop Kopi and I are the same age, but at that point he had been in the league, um, for a few years. Um, I think a few years. But I mean, we just had a ton of guys that were great to learn from.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I would like to talk about that series a little bit. So, what was that? Just like a Styles makes fights kind of thing, or what
I would like
came
to talk
together
about
to
that
make that
as
like
well.
the most attractive, competitive series that I think I've ever seen?
Um,
Pretty like you played the year before. That
yeah,
was Hawks in 5. It was like the classic Kaner Taves to Kane, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
year
yeah.
the
That 2-on-1, yeah.
yeah, that was it's
Um,
burned into my brain.
yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was like, I mean, this is no disrespect to anyone else, but I think we were the top two teams in the league, and
Yeah.
the fact that we were both in the West just inherently created, a clash. And um, I think there was some animosity. I mean, I think from early on, and I know it was, you could even go back to 2012. I remember when the Hawks were beat by Phoenix in that first round.
Yep.
That was a bit of a shock. But like we had some regular season matchups with them that were pretty emotional, pretty intense. And then that lockout year, obviously, when they beat us in the conference final, and then it just kind of felt like it was just brewing, like
Yeah.
throughout the season in 14. It's like, you know what, we're going to see these guys later. We're going to see these guys later, and I think it was probably just like a commonly known thing, like, hey, if I want to, accomplish what we all set out to accomplish this year, like we're gonna have to go through them. And so I think like just knowing that creates, I mean, every game in the league is important, but obviously there's certain that, going into it where you're like, hey, this is gonna be a war.
Yeah.
Um, so I think just that build up throughout the year, and then I mean, it was exactly that once the playoffs rolled around. And I remember um I remember sitting there. I guess we had just beaten Anaheim, and I can't. Well, it was in Game 7, so I think the Hawks were actually waiting for us to finish and figure out who they were playing. And um, I was sitting there with Dustin Brown, and we were just chatting, like, about I can't remember where it was on the flight. Well, it wouldn't have been a flight. We were in Anaheim. Bus ride,
Yeah.
some or other, doesn't matter. But us sitting there and saying like, hey, this series, again, no disrespect to anyone in the East. It's like, whoever wins this series is going to win the whole damn thing. And it obviously ended up being that. But the series itself, I mean, I think what was it? Were we down? I think the Hawks took game 1, and then we were up 3-1,
Yep.
and then battled back to go to game 7, right?
Yep.
Um, I mean, I think you
And
just say that out loud. It's like, well, yeah, duh. Like that's an unreal series if you're going to draw
yeah,
something up.
yeah.
Like that's more exciting than if it just goes every other, right?
Right.
Totally.
But yeah, it's kind of like what you mentioned, like with the D-men. It was like those teams were kind of like a combination of old school, new school,
Hmm.
and there was obviously an incredible amount of talent on that ice, but there was, it was an emotional, each team had the bigger guys that were bruisers and things like that. So it was just kind of, imagine on paper it was pretty much dead even.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
even the game 7, the 5-4, like high scoring, ton of action. You never felt like either team was like ever out of it, no matter what happened. And then
Yeah.
you get the game winner. So like, what was that feeling? Like, if you close your eyes, are you like, can you just go right back to that moment?
Um,
How often do you think about that? I feel like I think about it every day.
I would.
yeah. Here's the thing. Like I don't think about it that much. I think about it twice a year. Um, because or something like that. Like the goal against New York and then the one with the Hawks sounds like a flex and it's not.
I
Um,
think you can
but
flex. Yeah.
yeah, no. But I legitimately think about those each once a year, so twice total. When people tag me on Twitter or something,
Yeah.
like on the day that it happened, X amount of years ago. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's different. Like when you're playing and you're competing and you want to get back there. Like I mean, truthfully, didn't really think about it all that much. I think it's something that I'll probably think about more once. I mean, I know I'm done now, but maybe when I reflect back on my career, like maybe I'll think about it more. I don't know.
Maybe with beers with Blashill on the dock this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's where, you know,
Yeah.
um, I mean, it was kind of cool. Like the Kings did a really cool job of we had last summer and then 3 years ago we had our 10-year reunions and and we all got together, which was super fun and you know really appreciative of the organization putting that together. But yeah, I mean we talk about it, but it's funny, like even just sitting around at those reunions talking to the guys, like that's that's not what we ended up talking about. It was just kind of like it's more the process, or it's more of like the little shit that happened along the way where it's funny when you get together with all those people, and then you got coaches, you got management, you got players, you got trainers, you got all, and so you have all these different perspectives, and it's crazy the stuff that you just forget about, right? And you're like, oh shit, like I completely, I haven't thought about that in 10 years since it,
Yeah.
since it happened. And you talk about the little stuff, but I mean, truthfully, like we never talked about the goals. So I don't know. I guess it's one of those things, like in theory you'd think you talk or you think about a lot, but um I don't know. Maybe I will later. But
Well,
I don't have time. Like I
the
guess I've
anniversary's
reflected
coming
a
up in
little
a
bit.
yeah. The anniversary's coming up in a couple of weeks, so we'll make sure to tag you on Twitter.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah,
Yeah.
my
That
Twitter
won't
feed
come
will
from
be
me. That was a
inundated
dark
with
day. That was a dark
yeah,
day for me. So I won't
yeah,
tag it, but I'm sure other people will.
yeah, yeah, no, but yeah, that I mean that series was, I mean it was incredible. Um,
The
just
only
yeah.
thing we didn't get, which I feel like we got close a couple times, was the goalie fight.
That's
Where
what I was going
like
to ask.
Crawford and Quickie always seemed like they
Yeah,
were on the verge of
yeah.
going.
Crawford did
That'd
the
be a
little
good one.
glove
I'd pay
shake.
to watch that
Oh,
one.
I wanted that so bad. And who was the other goalie you had that got close with Crawford one time too? They like chest bumped.
Uh
He went on.
oh,
He was a high draft pick, and I'm blanking. He went to Toronto.
Jonathan Bernier.
Bernier, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like
yeah, yeah,
they had a couple stare downs too. Like that was such a
yeah.
great series, and like and I as a fan, I was always like I hated Vancouver, and then
Hmm.
I really hated Anaheim, and you
Yeah.
guys, I never. It was just like they're awesome, like they're just like
Hmm.
It was a worthy foe.
a worthy
Yeah.
adversary. Yeah, where it's just like
Yeah.
hey, like that team, like they got us. Like they're just awesome. They play it the right way.
It was a head
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I was actually just talking about this with someone earlier today, ironically, but uh like back then it was like I mean the four teams, like everyone in California was was a stud.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
like
San
didn't they
Jose.
call it like Death Valley or something like that? It's like all these Eastern teams would do the California
Yeah.
swing and they go
Smoke.
0-3, right?
Yeah.
Like San Jose, Anaheim, and us. Like, and then obviously with Chicago, it's like those are I don't know, hell, probably top four of the top 5 or 6
Yeah.
teams in the whole league. You know, definitely the top four in the West. But and yeah, and I guess Vancouver too. You know,
Yeah.
They
they
were
were
good too,
just,
yeah.
I guess in 12 they were just coming off that Game 7 loss in the final.
Mhm.
So, um, but yeah,
Yeah. It's like
yeah, it
you
was
wonder how Joe Thornton doesn't get one because he had such a great career and all those great teams, and then like that's the answer. Like
yeah,
it was just the wrong place, wrong time because you guys and Anaheim and obviously Chicago, they're just so nasty that it's just like you
yeah,
leave some of these, they just couldn't get to
yeah,
that next threshold. Um,
right.
all right, well,
It's
Marty,
like Patty Mahomes. It's like how many?
yeah,
It's like you. I'm a big football fan. It's like, man, look at all these top quarterbacks that are. It's just so hard to win a Super Bowl because you have, Patrick Mahomes. I guess Brady was the same way,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like,
No, it's like and
I don't
like
know.
Josh Allen, like what else can he do? Like
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
yeah,
it was him and Lamar
yep,
and I know
and
Cincinnati
Joe
had their struggles,
Burrow,
but Joe
yeah,
Burrow,
yeah,
like those are the three that I'm thinking of. And then, obviously Jared Goff because I'm a
Lions,
big
yeah,
time Lions fan.
yeah,
Yeah. No, but it's crazy how and that's why like I feel so lucky to have won as many times as I did because it's like, man, there's just so much out of your control and there's
yeah,
so many different factors and you got to be you got to be plugged into the right organization, the right group of guys, the right circumstance and that's not even playing the games. Like you
right.
need a little bit of luck, you need injury help, you need all this stuff and it's like yeah, there's so much of it that's out of your control. So um, I'm pretty damn lucky.
Yeah, hell of a career. It was a nice moment with you and Maroon at the end of the year here. A couple of guys that I've always Maroon was in the category. I never hated you. I hated Pat Maroon. I hated
Till we
that
got
guy.
to know him.
Yeah, but then you get to know him and it's like that guy. It's a guy who plays an honest game and that's
Oh
I hope
yeah.
I hope that Blashill can come in here and kind of instill some of that because it's like I always say this past year, like I don't care if they lose every game. I just want to see like good habits, and
Yeah, yeah.
it feels like that's what Blashill's supposed to bring.
Yeah, I think he's definitely the right guy to bring in that. But yeah, as for Patty, like yeah, he's an unbelievable dude. I had known him a little bit beforehand, but obviously had never played with him and I don't know, it was a really cool moment. I think he and we have some parallels in our career that were kind of cool and to be able to share that with him that moment it was pretty special and truthfully I'm just glad that there was someone else retiring so it would take some of that
Yeah,
some of at least half the attention probably more of
yeah.
that and more than that off of me but I mean I'm just excited to see this guy run in the Chicago Marathon.
I was gonna ask.
Did he sign up yet?
We're getting him the spot. We
I
have
don't
to
know.
check
I
every
gotta I
day.
gotta give him I gotta give him shit if he hasn't, but I was texting him.
He's doing the TV
I
circuit
was
now. I don't know how much he's training.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that haircut he's got has definitely got to shave at least a few minutes off his time
I
because
don't know,
he's
kind of
looking fast.
aerodynamic, just slick back
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, I'm really interested. I'm gonna be hounding him, making sure that he's well, I didn't even know he didn't sign up. So I mean that's the start,
That's
right?
on
But
us. Like we're doing it in
I'm
part.
not doing it unless he does.
I
for the record.
understand, Dave, but well, you're signed up.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Okay, so you're
I
signed
can,
up.
yeah.
I've been signed up for others I haven't done.
That's true. He's completed one marathon and signed up for another. So
I woke up that morning. I was like, nah.
not
Yeah.
gonna do it.
That's
Yeah.
wrong.
Well, you
That's way
can
too far.
can't you buy like the insurance or whatever, like you pay the extra $20 so you can pull shoot like 48 hours in advance or something
I'm
like
sure you
that.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may or may not have paid that extra $20 for a triathlon in September. So
Okay. All right.
So
so
you're
so
just-
yeah.
So
But
that
yeah, if anything, I think he's probably going to be paying that insurance. But if you guys got to bet, he's an honest guy.
yeah.
I could picture him following through with it too.
We just got to get him in. Pause. They have spots, but they need somebody to drop out, so that's kind of what we're waiting on. But that's the last thing.
Okay.
That's the last thing to get him in. So we're
Okay.
checking it like kind of daily. So yeah,
Okay.
that'll be. We'll have to have you can come on mile 26. You and I can stand there and cheer for these guys as they cross the finish line. That'll be our involvement.
Oh yeah. I'm not running it,
Yeah.
but I'll hand him a beer at the end.
Yeah, there you go.
That works.
Yeah.
All right, Marty. Well, I think that's all we got. You got.
I have one piping hot question for
Okay.
you.
No.
I was going to ask about the Corey Crawford and Jonathan Quick fight, who would win. We already answered that, but this one has been burning in my brain since like 2008 when the song came out. Is summertime in northern Michigan as good as Kid Rock says?
Oh yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a
it's,
Yooper, right?
Huh?
You're not Upper Peninsula?
Oh, come on now. You can tell the way I talk that I'm not from there.
I think you got kind of
Don't
a
you know? Yeah.
Canadian accent.
Yeah, no. No, I'm like actually the lake that I live on, rumor has it, is well, Kid Rock used to live on that lake. But apparently all summer long is written about that one.
Oh.
And whether that's true or not, that's the story I'm going with, and I tell everyone when they ask me where I live. So if you say it enough, it'll
it's
you'll make it true, right?
That's one of those facts that if someone told me, I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
and I would repeat it 100 times.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah,
I believe
and
you.
even if and if I saw it somewhere online, I'm sure it's probably Reddit or some super like illegitimate, probably just some guy sitting behind a keyboard making shit up. But no, it actually is like, I don't know. It's my happy place up there. It's kind of, I mean, people are finding out more and more about it, but I think it's kind of a hidden gem. It's a really quiet place. It's the perfect like off-season spot, to kind of get away, reset. There's no Uber, there's no even like pizza delivery or anything up there. Like you have to plan out your meal so you don't starve, but it's the whole allure. There's the orchards, the farms, you get all your food up there, and
Pure Michigan.
it's a nice. What's that?
Pure Michigan.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen the commercials.
Yeah, we have.
That's
Right?
awesome. You're
Or
kind of
the spoof ones.
yeah, those ones are great too. You're kind of making
Yeah.
me want to look for Airbnbs up there for Labor Day.
Well, hell yeah, man. I mean, especially Labor Day weekend, it might be tough sledding finding
Yeah,
a place
true.
at this point because
True.
those things sell out pretty damn quick. But yeah, you guys just come stay up in my place.
All right, sounds good.
Good.
Bring the dogs and the girlfriends. We'll see you up there.
And lots of Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kid Rock.
Oh
Kid
yeah,
Rock.
yeah. Just
We'll bring him
Just-
too.
yeah, Kid Rock and Locals Light. So,
All right.
but
All right.
Well, sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. Appreciate it.
Catch you soon.
All right, sounds good. See you guys.
All right, let's take a quick break. It's a new season. It's summertime. It's road trip season. It's always truck season at your local Chevy Chicago dealer. Chevy Drive Chicago has all the information you need to research your future Chevy truck and locate a dealer near you. Maybe you're looking for something a little smaller for summer street parking. The Chevy lineup of SUVs has it all. Great styles at great prices. You'll look good and feel good about what you're driving. I've never had a problem doing street parking with the Chevy Blazer.
That's a big car too.
Yeah, but
That's a
they
big
have
city, too.
all the cameras, the overhead view, the side, the backup mirror. It makes it so easy. I've never once had an issue. And if I'm being honest, I'm not a great parallel parker. If you're an EV guy, they got you there too. So your local Chevy dealer is ready to take you for a test drive and show you the latest technology and all these top tier electric SUVs. We've talked about it. PFD has the red EV Blazer. So head to ChevyDriveChicago.com to learn more and find your dealer today. The absolute best
It's
Chevy.
the best. You got any road trips planned or anything this summer?
I think Alec Martinez might have talked me into Northern Michigan.
It sounds like a beautiful time. Chevy's got us covered.
I
up
did
there.
one out to Iowa not too long ago, too.
That's beautiful.
Yep.
And you know what? Even if you don't need a car right now, you can go to ChevyDriveChicago.com. You can get your oil change, your tires
They're great at that.
rotated,
Yep.
brakes, all that good stuff.
I'm due
So
for
head
that,
over
too. I'm
to
glad you reminded me. I have 900 miles to go before I have to do that.
Beautiful.
Yep.
head over to Chevy Drive Chicago, Chief.
All right.
And they'll take care of you. Just
right.
hop in your zip and good to go.
I want to talk to you guys about a new product from Reef. Reef, you know them by now. They've been around forever. I used to have them in college, and now I'm happy to have them again. The little flip-flop with the bottle opener on the bottom. Reef just dropped the Fanning shoe. They've turned that iconic Mick Fanning sandal that I'm talking about into a sneaker. It's got 90s style written all over it, and yes, the bottle opener is on there. It's right outside there on the outsole, and ready to start some good times. So, like you said, I've had them. You have them. You've been wearing them.
So I'm not wearing the Mick Fannings right now. I am wearing another pair.
Oh,
this
nice.
one does not have the bottle opener on the bottom. The other pair that I typically wear does. These ones just match a little bit with my outfit today, a little better. So that's why I rolled with these. But I will say the Mick Fannings are the most comfortable shoes I own. I have not taken them off aside from to put on other Reef shoes over the last handful of weeks. I love them.
They're great. The Fanning shoe brings Reef's most legendary feature to a brand new silhouette. It's got the same laid back attitude, but with some fresh sneaker energy. And yeah, like we said, it opens the bottle. This is your summertime shoe. To get 15% off your first order of over $49, go to reef.com/stretch and use the promo code STRETCH15. Again, that's Reef, REEF.com/stretch, and the promo code is STRETCH15. So get that $15 off that first order of over $49. That's got to be your shoe for the summer.
I'm going to say this, My Sox Summer. We are live in the interview portion of today's show.
Ooh.
With the 108 guys, 2 of the 3, at least. We're joined by My Sox Summer and Beef Loaf. How are we, fellas?
My favorite one's not here.
Oh, wow. Early shots.
Early shots.
Say that already? Like, come on, we're sitting right next to
I
each
know.
other.
Terezi's just my guy.
Now, we were kind of we were giving some mad props to Terezi off mic a few minutes ago. Would you guys have been giving him those props on mic? I don't know that I would.
I would have, but then I would also talk about what a huge control freak he is and how he tries to bully My Sox Summer and I, and then he puts the restraints on us and doesn't allow us to do some of the crazy things we would want to do. So him not being here today is good for you guys. You're going to get the full version of us.
Yes.
Beautiful.
All right.
Are we going to get canceled for anything that My Sox Summer says today?
I'm pretty uncancelable, Dave.
Yeah?
Like, I don't think you can cancel me. But no, I'm not. Listen, there is no Jack Daniels in front of me today. You're trying to make me drink wine. I'll see if I can do that. But I've uncancelable. For the most part.
Can we start with one place before we get into it? You guys are you're not the 108 guys. You're the bobblehead boys. You have been honored.
Yeah.
You've been cast in plastic or whatever that shit
Resin.
is.
I think it's
Resin.
resin.
I think resin with a little spring.
Can't smoke that.
The White Sox have honored the 108 guys with their own bobblehead. What does that mean? How did that come together?
That's what I want. How did it come together? Let's just start from the top.
Our guy, Mike Downey, who's the head of promotions and stuff, he's the one that put together this whole, list of all the giveaways this year. Like, him and his team have done an incredible job. I think there's like 14 bobbleheads this year, including us. Like, it's just insane. But he's doing all these historical things. And for years, we've talked to him, and I've talked to him, and he's like, I have this idea. He's like, I want to do fan bobbleheads. And I go, I really want a bobblehead. He knows how big of a collector I am. I'm a huge collector. I own every single White Sox bobblehead ever released by the team. And so he's like, I want to do it. And he hadn't really had a firepower to get it going. And when this year came around for Sox Fest, and we did a video when we're in the hot tub in January, it's 14 degrees out, and that video killed on Twitter. Like, there was retweets and likes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just insane. So I think he finally had ammunition to go in and say, look, these guys are getting eyes. We can do this. We can sell this, and we should do it. So he had it. The ball started rolling in January. And I mean, we've been talking about it for months. I think we saw proof, or the actual mock-up, maybe a month and a half ago or something.
Yeah.
So and we were like, oh my God. And then it just showed up, and he sent us a picture immediately. He's like, it's amazing. It's the biggest bobblehead the White Sox have ever done. It's the most expensive bobblehead the White Sox have ever done. So, and for it to be the goofy guys that sit in right field behind a foul pole and just drink tons of beer, it's just amazing. I mean, we've just had.
I love it. It warmed my heart. Because you guys, this is not an easy organization to love. And you guys are so dedicated. You're sitting out in the same section, the 108, the great tailgates. It feels like there's nobody actually in the organization drawing a paycheck from the organization that deserves a bobblehead. You guys definitely do.
100%. I couldn't agree with that more. We were talking off camera, like a lot of off cameras talk, but I think that the White Sox should have been leaning on you guys years ago, even when they were competing or trying to compete or whatever they were calling that disgusting era. But you guys have been the perfect,
seat at the table, Dave.
Yeah,
It was a seat at the table.
Seat at the table. They had plenty of seats at the table, right? I don't know how much I want to talk about the past, but I'm trying to focus on the future.
Okay.
But they should have been leaning on you guys years ago. Is there any I don't want to say pettiness, but finally, hey,
I think that when you're an organization that gets attacked on the daily for everything that you do, there's a little bit sometimes of a reluctance to be like, okay, I'm going to give these guys the key to my car and see what happens. So we had to prove it through all these trials and tribulations that we've done, right?
We did a commercial for the track jackets over a year ago, and that seemed to do really well. And they got a great response. And then you mentioned the promo that we cut in my hot tub that got a huge. It took. They've known us for a long time, and they've done stuff with us for a long time. But it took us building up all of that history together before they're willing to take this leap, I think.
And just, I don't know the answer to this, so I guess a lot of people don't, especially Cubs people. How long have you guys been doing this 108?
So we started the blog back in 2016, so it's been almost a decade at this point. And I think our first flirtations with the White Sox front office came from a dear friend of ours, Aloha Mr. Hand, that you know, White Sox Dave pretty well. Great guy. He happened to be at a golf outing or doing some golfing, and Brooks Boyer was there, and Brooks started kind of talking about us, and he was like, "Oh, you know those? You want to meet those guys?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm good friends with them. I'll introduce you guys," and kind of hooked us in together. And the first real media thing that we ever did with them was they reached out to us to ask us if they could use #108ing in some marketing that they were doing for a special event.
Beer fest.
Yeah,
craft beer fest
For a fee.
We let them have it for free that time.
They actually gave us a booth at the craft beer festival.
Okay.
So imagine people hammered off free samples of beer coming up to us and saying, "All right, what are you pouring?" And we're like, "We're a blog. we don't have any beer.
I don't make beer."
So it was so much fun. That was just a great time. We had a wheel. And people could spin for prizes.
We were doing trivia.
Yeah. And then I had cases of the Sodfather bobblehead that my neighbor had found that fell off a truck. So he'd given me 3 cases, and I was giving them away.
Wait, did you like Tony Soprano and Christopher Moltisanti a case of bobbleheads?
Dave, I can't believe that you're disparaging Italians with the Italian sitting right here. It's too much. It's too much. But no, he just picked some up, and he had them. And in the next few days, I had one extra case that was in the front of my house. I keep seeing all these ants, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are there ants in my house? I open up the case of bobbleheads. There's carpenter ants inside the case of bobbleheads that magically we did not take to the craft beer festival. So I did not give carpenter ants to all these people.
We don't
those are invasive.
We don't think that happened.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was gross.
Yeah.
It was bad.
But no, to answer your question, Chief, it's more euphoric. You see it coming down the pipeline. We, like MSS said, we've known about this in January. We got the proofs. Yep. We got to approve the way we looked. And I told the guys, I'm like, should we put a note back that they should make my nose comically huge? The bobblehead? And we were like, no.
No, they
make me look jacked. Give me a giant hammer.
Well, they gave me shirtless.
I saw that. The attention to detail is pretty good.
You had to have that.
So it's a level of this is so cool. And I'm not a bobblehead collector, but just seeing that out there and seeing the response, everything is just oh my God.
It's recognition for the passion.
Totally.
And it's deserved because, like I said, that organization absolutely stinks. And
struggle bus.
Yeah.
It's hurt.
And you guys just keep showing up.
Yeah.
Gluttons for punishment, but gluttons for a good time. All right, guys, we're going to take another quick break. I want to talk to you about a product that I love. They're a store a block away from me. It's Viore. Viore is incredibly versatile and comfortable, perfect for whatever your day brings, designed to look great beyond the gym, whether you're running errands, heading to the office, or meeting up with friends. It is a great athleisure brand. They have that Sunday performance jogger is everyone's favorite jogger from Vuori, a fresh take on athleisure and a staple in your wardrobe. I wear them probably at least twice a week. Ideal for fitness, running, and training, but also stylish and comfortable enough to wear all day. Soft, lightweight, and this is important, 4-way stretch performance. It moves with you. There's no restrictions. Everything's
for a guy like you, that's important, Chief.
It's very important. So, like I said, they have the one on Southport. That store, it's a great store. They even gave me a little tote bag because I spent enough. So
that was nice of them.
Very nice of them. So Vuori, look, it's an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they're offering 20% off your first purchase. I wish I knew that before I went there. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet. Vuori.com/stretch. That's Vuori.com, VUORI.com/stretch. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions. And not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Or just bring it on down to that Southport location. It's time to talk about Lou's. Lou Malnati's is teaming up with Frank Red Hots for a fiery new creation, the Buffalo Chicken Pizza. We've all tried it.
We have all tried it. That is two iconic brands wedding to make what is...
It's a powerhouse.
It's a powerhouse pizza. That's a great way to describe it. It's a powerhouse pizza. Now, frankly, I've said it already. I would not typically gravitate towards that type of pizza. I'm a traditionalist. I like pepperoni sausage. I took one bite and I looked at it and started laughing because we just both loved it that much. We're like, this is so good. I don't know how I'm going to go back to the normal stuff.
And I got a confession. I've always been a Red Hot on pizza guy. That was something my dad had done. My dad, I don't know, he just loves spicy, hot everything.
Melt my face off.
And this is like the perfect combination. It's bold, it's creamy, it's packed with flavor. Like we said, it's pairing of those two iconic brands. You can order for pickup or delivery at LouMalnati's.com. You got to try the Buffalo Chicken Pizza. Visit LouMalnati's.com and order your Buffalo Chicken Pizza and all your favorite deep dishes. It also makes a great gift. It ships well. So just get to LouMalnati's.com and order that pizza for you and special people in your life.
Call for all you kids out there. Father's Day's coming up.
Great call, David.
Great call for dads on Father's Day. You can ship it to them. It doesn't matter where you live in the country. Just ship them some Lou Malnati's Buffalo Chicken Pizza.
We've talked about how White Sox Twitter has like these factions and little beefs and stuff like that, but it feels like you guys are pretty universally loved now. Do you feel that? Do you have any enemies?
I mean, you don't go on Reddit very often.
That's what I wanted. So I don't go on
Reddit hates me.
Not on White Sox Reddit, at least.
What is there to hate?
What's there to hate? Yeah. Honestly, what is there to hate?
I think
I'm open to the idea. I just haven't found a reason yet. I'd love to hate you.
I think it stems from self-promotion and trying to get what we've done like out there. And so it's like when we first started doing blogs, I would post on Reddit and they were like, fuck this guy. He only posts about his blogs and what he's doing. It's like, yeah. And then like this
Isn't that the purpose of like the internet kind of?
It is for everyone, but people that are trying to do it on their own. Like, it's okay to share the Yahoo News story that they're getting paid for ads, but God forbid we share our blog where there's no ads. And you can read about our thoughts about the White Sox, as dumb as they are or as good as they are. But it's like, we had a whole guy that was like Beef Loaf. That is the stupidest name ever.
I actually love that name.
You're right. But no, and he's right in a certain sense. It's dumb. But you know what?
Can we just have fun?
Yeah.
It's the internet.
We're like fucking around on the internet.
Breaking down a game or a player for like in terms that people can understand. There's nobody better than Beef Loaf when it comes to White Sox stuff.
It's the truth.
This really is.
Obviously, my commentary has slowed with the White Sox, but I miss the days where I was insanely polarizing in White Sox Twitter sphere.
I do too.
Those were but like we were talking off camera again, a lot of my enemies just also seem to have disappeared. And to your point, I think a lot of it is we all got older, we all grew up and kind of matured a little bit, but I miss those days where I'm like the Twitter commies or the White Sox commies or whatever.
Number one Twitter commie, and he'll love that we're mentioning him, Covey's Burner, was at the game on Sunday, didn't even come say hi. He's got his kid and his wife, and he's taking pictures in front of the Mickey Mouse statue. That's not a guy that invites you to a group DM and then tells you to suck your own dick.
Yeah,
like he's just,
that's not. Says I'm going to throw baseballs through your window and sends a picture of your literal apartment.
Well, I didn't want to bring that up.
That's what happened. That's when I was like, all right, fuck these guys. But I like I said, to bring it full circle, I do miss those days because like you don't see it with Cubs Twitter. You don't see it with I don't think any other fan base, not even in Chicago, just on a national level, how tight knit. Like
it is. It's odd.
It's a weird,
it's an odd thing. What goes on with the White Sox?
It's very. I don't think odd's a necessarily like bad word right there. It's the correct.
It's
word.
unusual.
Yeah, it's unique.
Yeah.
And it's mostly credit to you guys, of course, but like I miss those days. We need to get those days back, and
I have noticed
the White Sox
this year. You're starting to inch your way back towards that.
See, that's
you're dipping your toes in, like you miss it.
I miss it every single day,
and they have enough things going on.
But
you're not
then I remind myself,
looking, he's like peering from the side.
Right.
Here's my thing. Like
you got the new owner coming in eventually.
Even though it was a horrific face plant back when Han it was at Sox Fest and he was like, asked me after the parade.
Yes.
Yep.
Comment like I do think even though he failed horrifically in his own right and I was one of his guys, I do think in his head that was the goal. How often have you heard Chris Getz talking about World Series the last 2 years?
He learned.
You know?
Yeah, probably.
Right, yeah.
What
I think from a PR standpoint, he realized if I throw this out here, these people are going to kill me. They see the score here. They see this is they got to rip up the foundation here and start the whole goddamn thing over. And he has played it all like that.
I do think Han believed though. Like when he tore it down with the sale trade and the other moves.
Quintana, Eaton, yep.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, like we have Robert coming. Mm-hmm. We believe in Eloy. We have high draft picks. Andrew Vaughn and who's the little guy from Oregon State? Madrigal.
He was a Cub too.
Moncada, he sucked. He was a Cub for like a cup of coffee.
I hated that.
You hated him from the moment he was announced. So credit to Dave for that one.
He hates short kings.
Well, it's a
fellowship.
I don't. I know
you would have loved to root for him.
I would have loved to
if
root
he had
for him.
any sort of power.
I stood next to him at Sox Fest, and he was shorter than me.
So tiny.
And I know what it feels like to hit a baseball.
Yeah.
You need to put weight behind it, you know? And he just didn't have the mass to like. I looked at him. I'm like, this guy is gonna get fucking eaten alive by big league pitching because he literally does not have the mass. It's gonna be like he's hitting a bowling ball.
Yeah.
You know.
Plus, he was a grumpy little bitch. He never smiled. He was always like, oh.
I guess he
was
like
bad at everything else, too. He was poor defender. He was an idiot on the bases. He'd get thrown out everywhere.
Every single thing that they build him as, they, like, not just the White Sox.
Yeah.
Like, the scouting industry was a 180 incorrect, like, fallacy. He was the dumbest baseball player I've ever seen.
Let's get into, like, I want to get back to the positive vibes. We've talked about the Rick Howard failures. And I know
Here's my point on all that.
Okay.
Here's my point on all that. Like, while there are flashes, I really like Chase Meidroth. Vargas has been awesome.
Yes.
There's things to like in the minors. I know that winning is not the goal. So, like, I see all that, and then I remind myself, like, their goal is not to win. So my fandom... It reflects your attitude, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if I know you're not trying, and it's not even...
but, like, Getz is trying to win.
He's not trying to win. His only instruction this year was to gut payroll as much as he possibly could.
But that was his instruction. Mm-hmm. So I think that you work within the parameters that you're given. I think that he does want to build something and build a culture and build something that can be sustainable and win, even if you don't have, like, there's plenty of small market teams that are competitive with regularity.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's only, like, the Dodgers and the Mets are the outliers. And you can say the White Sox, Chicago, big market, all that. Those teams are the outliers. I do think I like Chris Getz. And you always talk about, like, why don't we ever find guys? Why don't we ever find guys? It feels like Vargas he
was a top 40.
He was, but like they gave up on him.
Yeah.
They gave up on him.
Yes, they took Michael Kopech and Tommy Edman from the Cardinals for him.
Right.
So like that's not a huge. You get a lot in theory in value in this trade right here. He found Shane Smith. In
Yeah,
the
Shane
05,
Smith is another one.
and he looks like a real guy there. Like
Yeah.
I think I agree with what you're saying, Chief. He's working within the parameters. He knows the assignment.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
assignment right now is accumulate as much talent as you can.
I don't think
figure out if you find any.
See,
of them.
I disagree with you.
We're at the
there.
bottom here.
I disagree with you there because I haven't seen any evidence that international scouting has changed. I haven't seen.
It's early though. The gestation
it's very
period on
early,
that
and
is years
it's-
because they're usually trying to sign up 13-year-olds to sign 3 years later at 16.
they haven't done that. Though.
But they've only been in there for a year, so it takes some time to get those guys loaded up.
But
I hear you.
But
I
we
think you gotta
could
wait on
have
that a little
instantly
bit.
saw that in January with that last signing date. We could have saw that, and there was nothing.
No, because they wouldn't have had those people lined up. You got to line them kids up when they're a lot younger than their signing year. So it takes a few years to we got our paws in there. We met those younger kids. Now that group's coming through. It's usually like a 3-year, 4-year to
lag.
get them guys come
Yeah.
through. So I hear what you're saying. Like, and people were talking about it. The Sox didn't spend all their international money just like the old Sox. And I was like, yeah, that sucks. But these guys are new. They're kind of getting their footing, and I don't like that. But I know this part's going to take some time. So I disagree with you. Like, it may still suck. Don't get me wrong, but I want to give them a little time to do it. You know.
Plus, Ishbia just built that building for them and just gave them the bag of cash so we can start getting
that's our
those
tinfoil
guys.
hat.
You just got to be a little patient, right?
What's your guys' take on the whole Ishbia thing? We'll get. I mean,
We love it in theory. What happened? We would
Yeah.
love when it happens. That's what MSS is making fun of there. I had a tinfoil hat theory that the Ishbias are the ones who put the money in to build the new Dominican. Really, Jerry's going to spend $20 million out of nowhere on that?
I mean, that's the thing.
Oh yeah, sure.
and you
Like
guys
a
can
wing
speak
of
to this
Ishbia's
as-
house in Wilmette. Yeah. Yeah.
Ishbia, that's what's in his pocket. He just
Yeah.
handed it over. You know?
Oh, I have a bag in the car.
Exactly. Let me get it for you.
Let me go to my Geo Metro.
You guys can speak to this more, especially Beefloaf growing up in the neighborhood and everything. But so Jerry Reinsdorf's on the record as saying he doesn't like paying for potential, and then at the major league level, he doesn't want to pay for the.
He doesn't want to
the
pay.
proven. Yeah, he
doesn't
doesn't
wanna
want to pay.
No long-term deals for pitchers like that. All that.
Right, exactly. So
But they
it's
did
too
just
conscious.
get burned by paying for potential. They did.
Yeah, but a lot of those guys were Moncada had a year already. He was 5th in the MVP voting that year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He always sucked, though.
No, that year he was
He had one
fucking
good year. Yeah.
awesome.
This brain.
I know.
I'm totally
sucked.
I'm totally okay with them taking that
He
risk.
just went on the IL or something again. last night,
Gambling
by the
like
way.
that
I
is fine.
I thought that was good business.
yes.
If that led to, okay, we're saving on these guys long term who are going to be foundational pieces, and we're going to take that savings and then throw it at a big guy to kind of get us to that next level. And that was the part that they missed.
They did.
And even with that, they did make the playoffs that 1 year.
We do put a lot of focus on them missing out on Harper or Machado, which was horrible, and we all hated that.
Very bad.
Yeah.
But if you throw the 5-WAR Machado or 5-WAR Harper onto the 2023 White Sox, they still are horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
So really, they screwed that part up for sure, and I blame that solely on Reinsdorf, a little bit on Hahn and Williams for not reading the market.
Something's going
Mostly
on with
Reinsdorf.
the development.
But
100%.
That's the real problem, right? They couldn't fill in the infrastructure underneath it, and I don't know how much to blame either guy, so I just blame them both. But
Yeah.
Williams and Hahn screwed that part up.
100%.
He did an interview recently, Hahn did on MLB Network, and said, we realized we had 1 through 6 players were good on the team. We had to make 7 through 35 be better. And I'm like, that's the exact thing they failed.
That's
You knew the problem, and you could not do it.
when I heard that exact quote, I was like,
He's just trying to get a job now. He's
Yeah.
trying to get
he
a
should
job
just
now.
I know
work
my
for
mistake. Hire me.
MLB. Go do what
Are you
Jim
guys
Hogan
hiring?
did.
Why don't we have him in here?
I would
But
pay
when I
every
say there's something
cent to
wrong
my
with-
name to get him in for a unabridged tell all. I don't even care if it's on camera or off camera. Just
Yeah.
I need that for the peace of mind.
I would
It would be
prefer,
so
I'd
awesome.
prefer it be on.
I prefer that too, but my
I suppose if
sanity.
it's your money. But when I'm talking about the development, it does feel like those guys all came through the system. It's not like those guys flamed out in AA.
Right.
Like they came through the system.
Yeah.
They got to major league. To your point, Moncada did have a good year. Eloy's first year, he was
32 bombs.
crushing.
Yeah.
And then it's like they turn horrible after a year with the White Sox. So I don't know what happens at the major league level.
We went out to dinner with someone 2 spring trainings ago now, and he flat out told us paid too early. Like, they stopped working, they were lazy. And I will say, Luis Robert, in spite of what he's doing, I have never heard anything but he works his absolute ass off.
Yeah.
And he gets lumped in with Moncada and Eloy and them,
which is
who I have been told by their teammates that they were lazy asses and did not work to be good at their craft. And they made it very clear that is not Luis Robert. And that's why, like, when I hear these comments like, oh, no one wants to trade for, I actually feel for him on a human level, because I do think it's eating him alive. Yeah, I think it shows up on the field too. Like, Luis Robert's struggling his ass off, and he's kind of an in between, right? He's started to lay off a little more sliders, but not enough to be effective. But also, he's not smashing the pitch down the middle. But he does everything else. He plays great defense. He leads the league in steals. So he's still hustling his ass off, in my opinion.
Looks good.
Yeah.
He looks like an athlete. He does look like an athlete.
He modeled those the City Connects.
But Chief, isn't this like a Chicago thing though too? Like, you have this Ferrari over with the Bears, and you're not even watching film with them, right? Like,
yeah.
So like, you expect that the people that are in their positions should be doing the things that they should be doing, right? And I feel like for a long time, the Sox don't have that, and the Bears are similar, where it's a family running this, and it's a weird front office.
It does feel a little different now with the Bears.
With the Bears?
Yeah, I think when you pay $13 million for Ben John, $13 million a year.
Oh yeah.
And it does feel like there's been a cultural attitude shift. We'll see how it actually plays out, but I do think that they have done some things where it's like, yeah, we're going to hire consultants, and they're going to find our GM and our coach, and it's going to be the defensive coordinator for a team that just went 7-9.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what the fuck did you expect?
Right.
This is the first time maybe since Wannstedt, because Wannstedt was the DC for the Cowboys when they were winning.
He was the hot name.
He was the hot name.
Yeah.
So this is the first time. Yeah, like it was before I remember too. But like looking back, that's
he was the guy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they got the top guy available. They wanted him. He wanted them, and it does feel like it's a little bit different with them. And I do feel like it's a little bit different with the Sox, where you have this succession plan with Ishbia, and I got suckered by Chris Getz last year. That was like the worst team ever. But I do like Chris Getz, and it's like you're talking about the finding guys. They've found some guys, so it's like if you can kind of build up, because it takes forever to build in baseball, just like it does in hockey. You build up kind of like your core, and then in your culture for 3-4 years, and then maybe that's when Jerry steps aside one way or another, and Ishbia comes in and just splashes the pot and like pours gasoline on
new
this
owner.
thing.
What all the new owners do in every sport, they want to make that splash.
Yeah, right.
And I that's like what you just mapped out is what I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
and that's like the macro level, and on the micro level, to your point, I think there are some positive. Sex of the organization, we'll call it. Like we were talking to a player. I was talking to him. I was actually at the dog park. This is a couple years ago now, and this is in the 2022 season when they were floundering around like 500. Everyone was like, "When the fuck are they gonna make?" I was talking to a player. He called me at the dog park. I'm like, "This is a random call," and he kind of just laid it out for me. And he was telling me, he's like, so Charlotte and Durham, North Carolina, close cities, and a lot of the players will like kind of intermingle because they grew up playing against each other and they're close cities, on the professional level. And he's like, you don't understand, the Durham Bulls, like, it doesn't matter if you're a senior sign that didn't have a signing bonus, or you're a first-round pick, or a 17-year-old Latin American kid. The day you get into the Rays organization, everything is streamlined. Everyone's ending the game. You're doing film work. Everybody's working on the exact same thing, and they find guys that can fit into their mold, and eventually they build them up, probably to trade them, And he's like, everybody's on the exact same page. The White Sox, it's like you end the game, it's like, hey, when you're 0-2, like, think about throwing a curveball, like, and like a Little League answer, something your old man would tell you, and that always stuck with me. But like, now it at least seems like it's streamlined. Like there's the what did they call Ryan Fuller? The offensive
he's the
coordinator.
He's the director of hitting.
Yeah, director of hitting. Which like
Oh, Grady's the offensive
Grady's offensive coordinator.
That's what it is. Grady, and I love Grady Sizemore. I think he is a manager in the waiting. But
Speaking of looking good,
hot fucking guy. He is
Robert
so hot.
Grady Sizemore.
Oh man, are they hot?
Dugout,
But to try to find positive, it does seem like it's more streamlined. And I'm hoping that these little flashes of Ryan Fuller, maybe Colson Montgomery's turnaround after being in Arizona, are a product of Ryan Fuller streamlining it through the organization from Kannapolis and right from the second you're drafted or signed with the organization all the way up through the big league level. So I'm not ready to say that I think that it'll work. I've lost full trust for obvious
Which is
reasons.
fair, yeah.
Yeah. But it does seem like the idea is there where they're building from the ground up.
Yeah.
It's almost like your hope is that you kind of do what Jed did, where you start from like you trade everybody away, it's bare bones, you slowly build it to a team that's very competitive, and then instead of being the Ricketts, where they're like, we're not paying Bregman, we're probably not going to pay Kyle Tucker, who knows with PCA, then you have Ishbia come in and be like, no, we're paying. So like you build up this a good farm system to enough to a team that's good, like a good team. And then you have the financial wherewithal, year 3, 4, 5.
That's part of the problem, though.
Theoretically, that's what you.
Theoretically,
That's all.
Yeah.
That sounds great, and I hope that is the case.
Sox fans
But,
are
like,
always apprehensive, though.
Even
Sort of
then,
will it actually happen?
even then, best case, you said years 3, 4, 5, and I'm like, I gotta wait that fucking long.
No,
Like,
I feel you on
and-
that too.
and
But
people are
if you were as good as like the Minnesota Twins right now, okay, or even the AL Central's probably the deepest division in
it's
baseball.
a good division.
Yeah, like everybody
Top
except for the
four's
Sox is
kind
above
of crazy.
Everybody above the Sox, everybody except for the Sox is above 500.
Yeah.
So if you were on the level of one of those teams, we'll take the Tigers out of it, but of those teams that are like, hey, like we're right around 500, we're pushing, like you would enjoy that product with the hope of like, hey, we built this, it's a grassroots thing, we have a good infrastructure, we need the money to get us to that next tier.
Sure. And I actually have this for a question for you guys. This is like a theory I have. Like we've all heard the David Sampson quote where Jerry Reinsdorf was talking about how just dangle that carrot, go for second place, keep the fans engaged, keep them wanting more.
Absolutely.
Is it a harebrained theory? Is that the word, harebrained?
Sure.
A harebrained theory to say that Jerry Reinsdorf bottomed out so badly so that when they are 500 again, we actually will be like, oh, we're a 500 fucking team. Instead of hearing that quote and being like, fuck that, we want World Series, we'll be like, fuck that, we want 500.
Man.
But it's like,
Maybe not on purpose, but yes.
Yeah.
But also now that what's funny is MLB has so many playoff spots now. That strategy is a winning strategy.
That's
the
true,
teams
too.
that like the third wild card are making the World Series. Like, just win 85 games or whatever and sneak in.
I understand like why, because it's like it entices teams hopefully to be more competitive, but in the end, it's enticed them to be just competitive enough.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The trade deadline sucks now. No big players move because you're only trying to get a win or two here and there.
Right.
Yeah, but it is also at the same time, I like it in a way because there is no salary cap. Where you look at like the Final Four for hockey, it's Florida, small market. Mm-hmm. It's Dallas, who's a big market but small for hockey. Edmonton and Carolina. But they have, through scouting and whatever, that's the system, and you have more parity and more chances. With baseball, it's never going to be that. It's going to be the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Mets, right? So if you have this expanded playoffs, all of a sudden, Kansas City's got a better shot. Detroit's got a better shot. The White Sox would have a better shot. And I think it keeps more teams in it. It keeps more fans engaged because it is so regionalized. Like if your team's not good and you suck by, May 1st, then you're checking out in the last 120 games. Or if you're kind of like, can we just go on a run? You'll follow the whole year, and I think that's
you're chasing
but I think that's
purple
good
dragon.
Sure, but I think that's
you're a heroin addict.
I think that's good for the sport, though.
I don't think that's good for the sport. I think it'd be best for the sport when every team is trying to win a World Series every single year. Because sans the
but you can't because of the way that the
and that's the the larger a larger issue, and one I do have on the list to get to is just like Major League. baseball as a whole, we're staring down a 2-barrel shotgun.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
of a strike because of everything you just laid out.
Then I'll ask my last question. Mm-hmm. How much do you guys love the Colorado Rockies exist?
I hate it, Chief.
The 2025 Rockies.
We're gonna lose our record already.
Turn your shirt around.
Yeah, MSS has the history shirt on that we made.
Yeah.
Get to the back there.
It says, we witness history, 41-121, most losses in modern MLB history, 14 straight home losses, 21 straight consecutive losses, 19 shutouts, 24 series sweeps, 37 blown saves, minus 306 run differential. All of those are probably...
Are those all records?
Yeah.
They're all records.
All the records they set last year. Yeah.
The Rockies...
21 losses in a row tied a record. The AL record, but yes.
The Rockies, the 21 in a row, that might never be touched. That might never be touched.
That was so horrible.
But they have already... Well, I saw this last night. Rockies...
They didn't set that 24-loss record, too, until like towards the end of the season.
Yeah, that was in August when they...
because I was at...
They're already minus 174. The Rockies.
Yeah.
So they're gonna pace.
In a way, it's upsetting that we don't get to hang on to the record for a while, and we're just gonna 1 year, and then we're gonna be out.
Hey, I wouldn't say so. So I wouldn't count those chickens quite yet.
Not yet. They could sign a bunch of people.
No, I'm saying the Rockies. Like they still have a lot of losing to do.
Oh, they do.
It's true.
They have
True.
But this series against the Cubs, where it was all there for them, they just couldn't find it.
They were definitely competitive with the Cubs, which concerns me, but also shows you how hard baseball is.
Yeah,
because the Sox are a better team, I would think, than the Rockies, and the Cubs just stomped them. Stomped them.
Well,
so
it's better weather.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, weather. That's okay.
Yeah, it was the weather.
I thought you were going to say some shit, and I was like, I was getting ready. I was already ready.
I would like it if the White Sox got,
it'd be good for us.
Yeah.
But do you want them to get better just so that they can fall harder and you can make more fun of Dave?
My dream scenario is that they're up 3-0 in the World Series and lose. That's what I would
I
love.
respect
if I were him, I'd be thinking the same thing.
I don't even know what soccer team Chief roots for, but I know that you were up early rooting against that team the other day, and I was like, that's what I love about it.
That to me is different because I do care about baseball. Dave, the only reason he knew anything was just to fucking ruin my day.
Yeah.
Did
it work? A little bit.
It made a bad day worse.
Yeah. So I did my job. I did my job as a friend and a coworker there.
Friend.
Yeah. Come on, please. You just said the exact same thing.
But Chief, just to back up all the things that Dave's been saying here, he's saying obviously on the camera, but he brought Mincy with him to a Sox game recently, and we met outside at Cork, and we were hanging out before the game. And we often meet up at Cork, just hang out a little bit before we go in there. And I said, Dave, what do you think, man? You're peering in there, the Sox are looking a little better, whatever. And he cursed me out for like 5 minutes with all the shit he's saying here. So
it's not. I know it's not an act. Yeah. I talk to this guy every day.
My goal is World Series. And I know that it is so far out of reach that it's like, what's the point? Like I like rooting for Chase Mydroth. He is fun to watch hit. He's not a superstar or anything by any means. Like
he's a ball player.
He's a ball player. Miguel Vargas, hey, Vargas is up in 2 at bats. Like I'm stopping what I'm doing. I'm watching him.
Check it out. Yeah.
It's not going to lead to, let alone play World Series is not so it's like, what am I watching? It's a very confusing thought that is perpetually in my head right now.
They're walking so the later teams will run, Dave.
I don't know that. We know that though.
I
don't know it.
You don't. But we thought we knew, and we got snookered. So it's like let's keep this going. I don't know. It's more enjoyable to watch. As
much more than
go out and watch 70 games a year. It's more.
How many games have they blown already?
It's like 19 where they've had the lead,
and the 7th.
No, these are early leads a lot of times. It's not like last year where it was like an all late one, but they've blown a bunch of late leads too. They have no bullpen. I mean,
I thought they were going to blow it yesterday.
Yeah, they're just throwing darts at the wall with the bullpen. They don't have anybody really back there.
But I bought Fubo for the Blackhawks, and that's a whole different thing. But it's like I do find myself, because I only have that service just for CHSN.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I hate changing apps. You know, like, oh, it's got to load,
just
whatever.
stay there,
So I've been watching more Sox probably than I ever have. And they are like more of like a real team to me than last year. Last year was so pathetic. This year is like, all right, like they got a few guys.
They're losing a lot of 3-1 games.
And they don't, I feel like aside from that Cubs game that we went to, they don't really beat themselves. You know, like they're pretty sound.
Yeah, the defense has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
It's not a great defense, but it's much better than it was. And I categorize it like this: the last year's team, if they got down 3-1, like you mentioned, Dave, we knew the game was cooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This year, it feels like they played through the whistle. In the ninth inning, they'll get a rally going. And it's like,
That's
okay,
a
well,
good
we
way
didn't
to put
win,
it,
but they got something going here. We do at least have something to root for down the
Yeah.
stretch. And that was not there with last year's
Right.
team. They're so dead ass.
And that's where you can credit Will. Will Venable has changed that clubhouse. Do you like Will? Dave? You don't know if you like him. It's the first time I've ever asked you this question.
I think that since I don't really have a take on him right now, that's like the best thing going,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
He hasn't said anything to be like, oh, I really don't want to be a Sox fan. We're going to get prepared to get your ass kicked every night at 7-10. Oh, great.
Jim
and then
Boylan.
Go out and then
Jim Boylan. He was a carbon copy.
Yeah.
I mean,
God.
talking about
Aaron,
organizations, like there was a point in my life where I did not miss a Bulls game. Did not miss a Bulls game.
Yeah.
Basketball is a distant third, fourth sport for me, you know, behind baseball and football. But like, I did not miss a Bulls game. And when Derrick Rose was when he blew up his knee and Jim Boylan, I was like, can't do it anymore. Like I had too much pain and suffering. I got to cut one of them out, and that was the Bulls. But like he was Pedro Griffel was Jim Boylan.
Absolutely.
Couple of buffoons.
Carbon copy, just
Buffoons.
idiots.
I didn't come here
And
to
I
see
don't
an
get that
eclipse,
out of
guys.
Venable.
I came here to win baseball games. Well, you didn't either.
Yeah.
You did need like.
Horrible decision.
Why do you got to be
Gotta watch
so
the eclipse.
coach speaky in the media?
It's funny you bring that up about Grafal because I had this blog right after they did the press conference.
Everyone drink.
Where everyone was, there were a lot of
was gonna
Chicago
bring those
sports
up.
media people throwing him bouquets and everything. I clipped all those tweets and talked about how I don't believe a word this guy says. I think this guy's a moron, all this stuff. And so it was surprising. I don't know if it took the terrible 100 loss team in 2023 to make everyone turn around. But yeah, once you got a little glimpse of him, a couple months of watching him manage, horrible. Just
Horrible. And like, right, I have seen people bitching about Venable's bullpen use, but like,
What's he gonna do?
He has a bunch of
gonna do?
bullshit out there.
yeah, what's he gonna do?
All right, let's do your CBA line of questioning, and we'll get these guys out of here.
Well, I kind of already got there. I wanted to talk more Getz with you guys personally. Like, give him a grade through the first, going on 2 years now. He was August 2023.
That's right.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
August
a year and a
2023.
half, 2 years almost. Trade dead. So last year's trade with Cease has been very bad so far.
Yeah.
Very bad. A soft tossing guy with Tommy John, like probably not going to do anything ever. And then Robert probably held on to him too long. And then they're looking at, from what they say, and they as in Twitter, Davis Martin on the block maybe, amongst others. But like, how would you say he's done at the big league level so far?
I think that he's made strides and some changes that are laid a foundation for changes to happen in the team, and we're seeing some of the fruit right now. And I know it's not great, but it's not as bad as it was. So and it's going to take some time to get the cancer out that's there. And I think he's doing that and has at least laid that foundation. Now, the next step is where the new owner is going to be critical, right? Because then you're like, okay, well, now we have to pay for something. Now we have to buy this thing, right? And so, yeah, I think that's where it's going to be hard. But I would give him a solid B-. Like he's not a C, because I think he's doing better than that, and because we know the limitations. It's like you can't expect a kid with a learning disability to get straight A's. You know, like you just have to.
You're grading on a curve.
Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly. That's a better way to say it. I probably shouldn't have said learning disabilities. But like, yeah, you have the grade on the curve. You're knowing that there are limitations to what he can do and what he can spend. You know, so I mean, listen, they just went into New York and competed with the Mets, who spent $1 bajillion, and we
Maybe
have,
2 bajillion.
Yeah, and we have 6 cents. So like, you know,
They should have probably.
it was good.
Should they have swept him? How many?
They should have swept them.
Yeah, they blew
yes.
it twice in the ninth.
That's correct.
And then they
blew
smoked
them out on
the
Wednesday.
third
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I would give him the B over a C, because it's stuff like that.
That's right where I would I think you sold me on that B- letter grade.
Man, I think I'm further back than you guys. I would say it's a C or a C- at this point. There are good things there are good things that I enjoy, and I like the general philosophy of he's just out there accumulating. And you see it like with weird 40-man moves where he's trying to do the best he can to keep as much of the talent around as possible. He drafted a Rule 5 guy, then he traded for another Rule 5 guy. Mike Vassell was actually pitching pretty well for the White Sox.
He's the one bullpen arm that's been pretty effective.
Been pretty dependable so far, right? So like all that stuff he seems to be doing correctly. You mentioned the trades, Dave. I think the trades are always going to be volatile like that because the marketplace has moved to a more you got to take volume over getting a big star. Save for like the Crochet trade, you were going to get some higher level guys, but even that it was a lot of volume based stuff, and so it's going to be volatile. I think they probably are going to get crushed on the Cease trade, but then the Eric Fetty trade is going to look great because Miguel Vargas was a guy. So you've got some of that stuff. Where I think they're making still fairly substantial mistakes are in the bullpen, and not just because the bullpen stinks, but because the style of build. Brian Bannister's trying to build these bullpens with all these guys that do goofy things instead of just finding a guy who throws really hard and can snap off a slider and teaching him how to throw the ball in the strike zone, which is what everyone does at the back of their bullpen. And it not only hurts the current team, but in the trade market at the deadline, you can gather a lot of stuff together. And the Sox don't have shit in the bullpen to really trade that's going to gather anything. So they're making big mistakes there with the style of build. Like, you should be harvesting here. I saw James Fox from Future Sox say they should have just bought 2 bullpen arms and threw them out there, $9-10 million, throw them out there. I know they were trying to shave the payroll down to nothing, but those guys can get turned for something.
And those are the guys being dealt right now at the deadline.
Exactly.
Right.
So those are some of the mistakes that I think he's making.
I don't think that's a mistake. I think that is a directive. Like, hey, I don't give a shit what you're going to get back. You're not spending money. Like that, so like
it's fine. You don't spend the $9-10 million, but you go find the guy who's a former starter who throws 99, who has no clue what a strike zone is, and convert that guy into a bullpen.
Sure,
every team does this.
That isn't named Mike Clevenger.
I would say every team does this. The Sox are not fucking doing it. So they're making some mistakes in this, but I do like the width of the ball, and I like that he's gone out and specifically gotten guys hitter wise that control the strike zone. So they have something to work with Ryan Fuller, right? And we're seeing a little bit of upside here or there, like even like goofy guys like Joshua Palacios, who's like, who's this guy? And he's hitting okay, like some of that stuff. So I'll go C- until I see improvement on the bullpen side.
Yeah, not spending on bullpen arms, but expensive bobbleheads.
Like that.
So
the most expensive,
important shit.
biggest bobblehead.
I sell more tickets than that guy. Come on.
Probably, honestly.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
correct.
we have talked, and this is kind of where I'll wrap up until we kind of freestyle it. But what if they, and this is a total change of pace for the convo, what if they do move the stadium to the 778 block? Is Section 108 still going to exist?
So there's been a theory floated online on the Twitters that Section 108 will become a premium section just to gut us for more money. So,
and that's why you
I
guys
respect it
chose
in a way.
108. It was the cheapest in the lower deck,
It's
right?
the cheapest in the lower deck.
Yeah.
This is they have this been what do they call it? Greasing our wheel all along. Like here's a bobblehead, here's a commercial, here's this, and then they're like, all right, now you got to pay $10,000 a year for season tickets.
Yeah, we're gonna get gentrified out. It always happens. A hot neighborhood gets gentrified, and then that's it. We got to move on.
108's going to be right behind the Sox dugout.
Yeah. Bunch of
Can't afford it
suits.
no more.
Yeah, you're wearing slacks and Dockers to work. Or
You know
to
what?
the game.
If they're willing to pull up a little ferry, a little boat for us, my Sox summer at Lawrence's to pick us up for the games, then maybe we can get down.
That's
with
the kind of shit they
Sox Navy would be sick.
dude
be sweet,
sailgating
right?
on the Chicago River, like
That'd be insane.
Dave on a wave runner.
like Kenny Powers.
Hair is flying.
Yeah. Oh man, that's the kind of shit they need to be leaning into. To like sailgating, fucking what other stadium aside from San Fran do they have boats coming
right.
in? You know,
College football. That's it.
You guys got a fucking kayak right outside this.
Yeah, I don't know.
exactly.
Like,
I don't know
you're ready
what
to go
that's
already.
doing or whose it
There,
is,
no.
but I will steal that from the.
That
outside.
was
not even
like
a-
I
not even a
walked in
cooler.
on,
I was like, is it a
on
cooler?
Tuesday or what, and I'm just like,
Okay. Shit like that pops in all the time, and it looks so out of place to like any normal office. Then here it's just like, oh, someone's doing something.
Yeah.
So you don't even like think about it. But so like I know that you guys are anti, right?
I mean,
Anti that move.
I'd prefer the stadium to stay at 35th and Shields, but the 78 wouldn't be too bad. Like it's a short commute for us. Not that
we
big.
just
of a
go
deal.
jump on the red line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would probably just hop in an Uber. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I mean, the walk to the red line's even further. Like
Fancy.
You're so close to the red line.
I know, but I don't want to walk that far.
He's
man.
literally. I'm not gonna dox you, but
I'm close.
but yeah, no, I'm
close to
like
the
4
current
blocks
stadium.
away. I'm like, I gotta walk down there anyway. I can just get on the red line. I'm a cheap guy though, but also
you are. Yeah.
you know, I could take an edible and it could kick in on the red line.
We have to do that still. We have to do our edible game.
Well,
Yeah, you guys need
Yeah.
GoPros. And how many megs you want MSS on?
What did I say, 200?
Yeah, you said 200. It ain't happening. But there's
Somebody at one of your tailgates gave me one that was 100. And I had to just throw it away.
Yeah.
It's definitely Gordon.
Yeah,
Gordon.
I was just like,
Yo, so
I
Moody
deal with
Gordo.
5s and 10s. I can't be doing.
His stuff will knock you out.
Yeah.
But we could get some fungi too, so we can have a little fun.
There it is.
That's,
It'd be a first for
Why
David.
not just?
You've never
we got-
done that before?
No, I haven't.
Oh God.
I
gotta do
think
this.
No, you wouldn't.
hallucinogens freak me out, but like
You have
the
to get
amphetamine stuff freaks me out to the point where I'll never do it because I
It's
know
not
I'll
it.
like it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is
Dave is on the record. He will not do meth.
that's good.
That's a huge stance.
No
right
bath
there,
salts.
I'm not going to promote it because I know no free ads, but like microdosing shrooms is just like amazing. Like it's a whole different world. I love it. I love it a lot.
He scared me away from it.
Oh no.
He started seeing himself in bed or something.
Well,
How much are you taking?
it was like a handful.
Oh, that's not microdosing.
Well,
I have like a legit.
He went to
scale,
Mars.
and I lay out like gram. I'm up about 1.5 grams right now, and it is just
yeah.
it's good times.
All right.
That's how he deals with.
Probably
kids.
took like 4 grams.
I have no idea.
You have like Mike Tyson like tolerance.
It was an experience. Yeah. That was like my last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we were in college in the 90s, like everyone was taking like 1/8 of an ounce, and like no, that you don't want to do that. You
That's
just,
like
get
ayahuasca
sick
at
and then
that
you
point.
trip. Yeah, and it's like it's fun, I guess, but I didn't do that then.
I didn't
I was
really-
freaked out by hallucinogens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started the microdose, and I was like,
All right.
great. So
All right.
Can't wait
Anything
to get
else
my kids
from
taken
from
away.
you guys?
I got one last question actually. How often do you guys rip it up with other fan bases? Like on Twitter, mostly. I know people pop in, but to the section, but not very often because like I got this dream.
no.
This plays into my stadium talk question. Is like I would love the White Sox to be an organization that isn't irrelevant, and that word used to hate me when people on the internet because we got a national fan base. Obviously,
Yeah.
would say the White Sox are irrelevant. I'm like, no, they're fucking not. They're very fucking irrelevant. And the only reason that you would say they're not irrelevant is because of how much losing they're doing right now. And like I do feel like a stadium with like all the bells and whistles.
yeah,
With you guys fucking packing 108 in the new place. Like I think that would be a destination organization and a cool place to play in an awesome city. And I want that so badly. And I just
it will be great, but they have to fill the tank with gas after they be there for 5 years. They can't just go in there and say, "Oh, we're going to sell all these tickets." and
because
stuff
new
it's
place.
new.
Yeah, no, that's true.
If they get back in the same, that's why new ownership is like kind of the big deal. Like because if you get the new guy in and he's got a new plan and a new way to spend, then you're fine, and then that will work. But if not, it's gonna be the sell north. You know, like it's just
That's
a
all.
little bit
Yeah,
of-
right. No, yeah.
it's the same thing.
I mean, we're going to Pittsburgh. I still got to book that trip, by the way. But like that should be a stadium that's packed to the gills every single game. And,
Right.
You know, downtown, beautiful views, amazing
Yeah.
stadium, the bridge in the background, and it's not because the organization sucks.
Yep.
And if the White Sox don't want that to happen, they should play some fucking winning baseball. You know,
Figure it out.
Everything, every team, every sport, it all comes down to winning.
and unless
win.
you're the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah,
And I'm not even saying that as like a fuck the Cubs thing. It's just the truth. You know,
Yeah,
they're good.
No, it's,
he's
The
good.
Cu-
He's fun to watch.
he is so.
An
I
asshole, but he's fun to watch.
he's a nice
have
boy.
It makes him even better. What do you mean?
Never.
Did you meet him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We interviewed him.
Was he a nice?
Oh,
guy?
He
great
was
guy.
awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
He wasn't as douchey as he seems.
No douche.
He's California like skater boy, laid back, chill. Like he
but
and
like
I
got
don't
it, played ball, was like
fun.
Yeah. So I liked
I
him a
don't
lot.
mean this.
Where's
in
he
a bad
from in
way.
California?
Like Thousand
Santa
Oaks, Southern
Monica,
California. Yeah.
One of the
All right,
money
that's not.
places.
Yeah,
Sherman
that's-
Oaks, Thousand Oaks, one of those.
Yeah, that's not too douchey, and that's not Inland Empire stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
He didn't
won't give
reek
Dave
baseball to me, and I don't say that in a bad way, but
Yeah.
he's just become an awesome baseball player, and
He's probably the MVP.
So far, like out of any player, Cubs player in any era, I've never been so jealous of the Cubs having a guy like that. Like it does, not Chris Bryant, not Rizzo.
It's a premium position, and it's cool, and he does
that.
everything.
Is what Luis fucking Roberts should be doing right now.
He's a true 5-tool guy.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even supposed to be a power guy, and he's fucking
is.
He's so athletic. It's turning into a lot of
Aaron
power.
Judge didn't exist, he'd be leading the league in bombs right now, or close to it, right?
He has more extra base hits than anybody in the league since April 13th. So you cut out the Japan series or whatever, and it's just been PCA's been killing everybody.
You want all these numbers, Chief.
Awesome. I'm back in on baseball.
That's it. What do you got? Anything else? Anything you guys got to get out there to the people?
Is there a day for your bobblehead?
There is.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the day?
Yeah.
September 16th.
Okay, we'll be there.
We will be
It's
there.
a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday night. They put
But-
the big drinking event on the Tuesday night, which is typical for the White
Yeah.
Sox.
They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. And you know what? Don't hate the player, hate the game.
That's right.
You can go to 108.ing/bobblehead, and it'll take you right to the place where you can buy our stuff.
Great.
Or you can go to 108.ing/merch and get some of these fancy shirts
Wave sucks.
that we design ourselves, and we actually came up with the logos ourselves. We didn't run some shitty contest.
You know what?
I knew it was going there.
But,
I knew it was going there.
but also, I want to remind our guy Joe that we are the true originators of the hating to the wave. Like the South Side
That's correct.
is where
Yeah,
the wave
this is
hate
us.
began.
I was
You guys
always
can't
indifferent
take
to
that
the
on
wave.
North Side. I'm sorry.
I mean, they can co-sign with us.
I've
but
always
we
hated
had it. So
I was always indifferent until like I was in your section. Someone asshole was trying to start it. I'm like, no, what? This actually does really suck. Like, what kind of asshole would do that? Stand out on their seat.
Sucks in the third inning, you know? Like, what are we doing here?
get out of here.
We're down 6. Do the wave.
Yeah, the
Get
ticket
them
for that
boys
night also
fired up.
includes a patio party.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
All you
patio
can eat,
party, all you
all
can eat and drink, and then that's a Tuesday $5 night. So you can get $5 drafts when you get into the stadium after,
And more food for $5.
and more food for
you
$5.
need that,
Yeah.
too.
That's a hell of a sales job. All right.
See you guys there.
All right. Well, that's
Yeah, we'll
that's
see.
it. Thanks for the 108 guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
You guys.
We'll see you again soon.